Hello. Welcome to the third in this 3 series of property entrepreneur values and core focuses. Talks about the 3 core focuses, the 3 core values, and the 3 core objectives that we have for all of our clients on Property Entrepreneur, on Advanced, and all the things that we focus on the board. The first is wealth, long-term wealth creation, financial independence, and being able to reduce those overheads to a level where your relative wealth gives you a level of freedom other people just don't have the opportunity to experience. That was a couple of podcasts ago. Feel free to go back to it. The second was health. The world is conspiring against you. Unless you try explicitly hard, the default is to fall into bad practices, to sit down all day, to eat food that shouldn't be even suitable for human consumption, but is making up 70% of the supermarket shelves. And the tips to get through that, to break it and get yourself into your AAA game where you can actually perform. And then the third, which I'm going to talk to you about in this Facebook Live and official Property Entrepreneur podcast, is life by design. The 3 things we focus on Property Entrepreneur: wealth, health, and life by design. Now, we live in a society where, again, in the same way it's very difficult to be healthy, it's also getting increasingly difficult to be happy. If you look at the statistics of all the sad things that we wish didn't happen in this world, whether it was mental health or suicide rates or childhood depressions, all of these things are on the up, and that is setting the tone and the trajectory for the generations ahead. We live in a society where unless you try very hard, you're going to follow the masses, you're going to follow the highlight reel of social media, which we all know is just that. It's just a highlight reel. Celebrity life, all the things that we see and consumed by on a daily basis. We live in a generation now. I was reading a book the other day and it said we will look back on this period in time, this last 100 years, and it would be a period in time where everybody was scared of each other. Everybody walked around feeling anxious, feeling self-conscious, and genuinely just not even be able to have eye contact. I walk around some towns and cities, and I live out in the country most of the time, and everyone seems to be a lot friendlier, but probably just a lot more disconnected from what the normal world has turned into now. And what we're doing is we want to be conscious and tune into this to make sure that it's not a trap that we fall into, because most people in life now have become the sheep of society. And unless you try very hard, you end up living a life by comparison, not a life by design. You live a life by what you think your friends want you to look like and be like, what you think your parents want you to look like and be like, what you think is the in thing, whether it's with regards to fashion or celebrities or fame. All of these things in society where we're driven to want to achieve things that perhaps, having dedicated years or decades of our lives, you get there and actually they don't make you happy in the slightest. And this is what we call the difference between life by design and life by comparison. And what I want to do in this podcast is just break it down for you and give you a few focus areas that I've learned through my own mistakes and shortcomings, through my own study and practice, and through my own personal development on this lifetime's journey of self-mastery. So 3 things I'm going to share with you in this podcast about how you can craft a life by design. The first thing I'd encourage you to tune into to get a life by design rather than a life by comparison is what the Buddhists call ikigai. So ikigai, or you might have heard it be called dharma before, or more in more layman's terms and more mainstream, your purpose or your mission. There's a reason that you've been put on this earth. This is where I live, by the way. That's my narrowboat. For those of you on the Facebook Live, there's your ikigai or your mission or your purpose. There is something in this. There's something in this world and this society that makes you feel purposeful. It's something that you love doing. It's something that you can get into flow with. It's something even if you weren't getting paid, you would still go out and do it. And that is your ikigai. That's your purpose. That's your mission. That's your dharma. The first thing is to try and tune into that and try and think, What do I do where time just disappears? What do I do where I'm in passion, I'm loving it, I'm like enjoying it? What do I do that keeps me up late at night, wakes me up in the middle of the night, or has me jumping out of bed in the morning? And try and tune into that. What is your ikigai? What is your purpose? What's your reason why? Why are you here? That's the first thing to tune into, because you want to live a life by design, and life by design should be fun. That's the first thing to tune into. The second thing within building your life by design is your relationships. Now, there's an amazing little animation or illustration and a quote. It's from a book which somebody gifted me called The Horse, the Mole. Just one of you will know that better than me. There's a drawing in there, and the little dragon's on top of the panda's back, and it says, what's better, the journey or the destination? And all of us ask this, don't you? We all know that the chase is better than the catch. The catch is always an anticlimax. You want to enjoy the journey rather than the destination. And the little dragon says to the panda says to the little dragon, what's most important, the journey or the destination? And the little dragon turns around and says, the company. Life is a journey. You are, however important you might think you are, however significant you might think you are, however much you think what you're doing is the life and death saviour of everything that's going on in your life today, you're nothing more than a little blink in time. You were nothing before you came here. You'll be nothing when you leave. And at best, we've got a few trips around the sun to enjoy this experience. Now, I'm not saying that means eat grapes and get your nails painted. I'm not saying it means you should go and retire and be a monk and meditate the days away. Something out there which is your ikigai is your purpose, and the way you're going to enjoy that purpose is the second point, which is your company. It's the relationships, it's the people you choose to spend that time with. Some of you might have huge social circles, huge friendship groups, huge families, and it's really important to acknowledge those, invest in those, and be the best contributor and consumer of those that you can. Others will have like smaller groups. I had lots of friends when I was at school and at university. In recent years, I've had a much smaller group of friends. I've got a very small group of maybe a handful of very, very close friends who I speak to as frequently as we choose to. I invest in those relationships, I respect those relationships, and I highly value those relationships. And it's being engaged with those and understanding that if you're living a life by comparison, you'll be on the rat race, you'll be working, you'll be following a career for 30 years, and you'll just blink and you'll miss it. You'll be on that bullet train to success. The second is relationships and surrounding yourself with people that you want to share the journey with, you want to enjoy the journey with. People, you should have 3 peer groups within your relationships. The first is a set of people who are ahead of you, and we learn from those by being led. The second is those who are behind us, and we get value and we learn from them by teaching. And the third is those who are on the journey with us, our peer group, and with them we enjoy the journey and we celebrate our successes, and we share our challenges and we celebrate our successes. The second part of life by design is being very deliberate and very strategic about who you spend your time with. If you're in a bad business partnership, a bad business relationship, a bad personal relationship, there's issues in your friendship group, your families, life's too short to not address these and deal with them. And this is what life by design is all about. The second thing is understanding that this is a journey to be enjoyed here, and it's better shared with others. And that's the second, focusing on your relationships, your friendship groups, your community. And the third is objectives. Now, this is where it gets a bit more strategic, although actually all of it's highly strategic, and those of you that have done Property Entrepreneur will understand this. The third is your objectives. And every year you will change as a person, and every year your plans will change, and your objectives will change, and your targets, your aspirations, your view on life will change. If you were to look back on yourself now over however many decades you've been on this planet, you'll know that you've been a number of different people. You know, when you were growing up, maybe you were the cool kid and the cool dude. Maybe you were the popular girl at school, and that was how you grew up in your sort of teenage years. Then maybe as an adult, you've been a mother or a wife or a partner, or maybe back in the day you used to like drinking and you used to like doing all the bad recreational things in life, and now you're a long game, AAA game, fitness player, you will have lived you will have lived a number of lives, and there's a million more lives that you can choose from whilst we're here enjoying this life and on this planet. And the third is objectively tuning into that and understanding that every year our aspirations change, every year our focuses change, and it's carving out the time to live a life by design, not a life by comparison. If you just let yourself flow with the stream, you'll be a sheep in society, you'll follow the highlight reel of Facebook, and you'll probably, in some capacity, want to be rich and famous. And the reality is, Jim Carrey says it best. He says, I hope everybody can get to be rich and famous to realise nobody wants to be rich and famous. And I would be inclined to say there's a lot of truth in that. You don't want to be rich and famous, you want to be wealthy and anonymous. Granted, there's value in profile and things like that, not diminishing that in the slightest. The third thing is objectives, is every year carving out time to be strategic about what you do. And again, on Property Entrepreneur, we spend 3 months doing this every year. October, November, December. We go into the autumn, we get the journals out, we go into the cave, and we do 1,000,001 different exercises. We spend days on end crafting our life by design. Because if you don't, you just live a life by comparison. You'll do what your neighbours are doing, you'll do what your friends are doing. You make the decisions that your parents want you to make. Having a very deliberate, conscious, strategic approach to your life means you'll live a life by design and you'll get what you want out of it. So a few things to close, a few things to actually go away and put into practice. The first is your Ikigai. Start to tune in to what you enjoy doing, what you love doing, what you would do if you never got paid. And start to find out what is your actual purpose, what's your reason for being here. Every single person on this planet has a unique Ikigai or a unique mission or a unique reason to be here. And all you've got to do is find that. Tune into it. Mine's taken decades to figure out, and it probably does change. You do tune into it more or less, or it becomes more focused or less focused or more broad. Mine is making things happen. The individual thing that I think I'm better than most people at is making things happen. My success rate is very high, but my start rate is very low. I say no to pretty much everything, but the things I say yes to, whether that's starting a business, investing in a company, doing a charity fundraise, taking on a challenge, doing a weight cut, anything, is very well considered. And when I go into it and I commit to it, the outcome is always inevitable. I know that it's going to happen. I know I'm going to get the result because I know how to get there. And I'm very strategic on the one thing out of 100 that I say yes to. So my Ikigai is making things happen. I'll be the one that makes things happen. What is yours? Start to tune into yours and get in tune with that. I'll get up in the middle of the night to make things happen because it's just my passion. I love it. The second is your relationships. Start to tune into all of your relationships you've got. And what you'll realise is some of them might be quite transactional, quite disposable. Some of them might be giving you medium value at the minute because either they're medium value relationships or you haven't been investing in them. Who have you not been reaching out to? Who have you not been connecting with? Who have you lost touch with? Who should you be investing more time with? What relationships should you be getting rid of? What relationships should you be finding? These are the things that will build the journey that we'll enjoy whilst we're here. And then the third is objectives. All of these things we spend 3 months on Property Entrepreneur, October, November, December, in the cave. What do we want more of? What do we want less of? What do we want to keep? What's in our 5-year plan, our 3-year plan, our 1-year plan? What do we want financially? What do we want professionally? What do we want personally? And what we do every year is we then create a strategy based on our objectives. We have a personal strategy, which we call the year of. So last year for me was the year of frugal hedonism. I moved from living the sort of high life with high expenses, being a rich kid, into frugal hedonism, moving on to a narrowboat and living more in nature. Because actually, having tried for a year the high expenses, I realised actually I'm a reasonably simple person with reasonably simple needs, and I just enjoy the simple things in life. We have a year of. In our businesses, we have headline strategies. If you chase 2 rabbits, you'll catch none. What is the one thing you want to focus on this year in your business? That's your headline strategy. And then all of them have objectives. Your headline strategy has 3 supporting objectives. What are the 3 things you're going to focus on behind your headline strategy? And then personally, under your year of, what are the 3 things you want to achieve personally this year and the 3 things you want to achieve professionally this year under your year of? And then you have a reward at the end. This is a life by design. A life by design takes 3 years, 3 months to create every year. A life by design is recreated every year. Some years I have, smash it out of the park. 2019, let's level up. I went out, did a body transformation, went out and bought a load of companies, got big head offices, got a supercar, got a new Mercedes. I did all these things that I thought would make me happy, but actually I ended the year feeling exhausted, burnt out, and a little bit depressed, if I'm honest. And then you get to the end of the year and you decide what is going to happen in the next year. Life by design is a skill, it's a practice, it's a strategy. It's something you should spend every autumn crafting. And then when you get around to 1st of January, you start your new year off, you start your new headline strategy, and that for those 12 months is your life by design. It may be extreme, like going and living in a penthouse or then living on a narrowboat, or it might be something quite subtle, like slow down, be a family man or woman, or just slow down and smell the roses. It doesn't matter whether you want to be the next empire builder. It doesn't matter whether you want to become a multi-millionaire. It doesn't matter whether you want to become a family man or family woman. The most important thing is that you decide what you want. You park the highlight reel of social media. You don't fall into the trap of being a sheep in society. And whatever you want out of life, you go and think about it. You get clarity on what it is. And then you go out and you actually achieve it. Take some time this weekend, grab your journals, have a little play, what's your ikigai, what's your purpose, think about your relationships and your community, and then finally think about your objectives. What do you actually want to achieve? What do you want to go out there and get? Pull these things together, and that's another one of the many blueprints that we use on Property Entrepreneur to create life by design, to create short, medium and long-term wealth, and to focus on the most important thing above all, which is being on your AAA game, being around for the long term, and focusing on having a health that's gonna take us the distance. Hope you enjoyed that. They're the 3 values, they're the 3 core focuses of Property Entrepreneur. If you're not already on our Property Entrepreneur Facebook community, join us in there. There's 6,500 people in there now. If you're interested in business, property, investing, growth, personal development, join us in there. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast and you're listening to this on Facebook or the podcast, hit subscribe. We release a podcast every week now, and you can keep up to speed on all the things that we're sharing. And then also the YouTube channel. If you like a bit of video, you like to watch something while you're cooking or while you're chilling on the car, the train, the bus, then subscribe to the Property Entrepreneur YouTube channel, and I hope you get a load of great value there. Tomorrow, for those of you that haven't already secured a place, we're going to be launching our first date for the Property Entrepreneur Blueprint. End of June, 3 days at the Belfry. It's a £4,000 programme, but tomorrow we're going to be launching 5 places at midday tomorrow at the lowest price and package we've ever done. It will never be repeated. It will never be repeated. Those who secure their places tomorrow will be joining us for 3 days end-to-end training at the Belfry, 5-star accommodation, 3-course dining, and the unique and proven blueprint that we've used. I've used it for nearly 20 years. I've been teaching it for nearly a decade, and it's a unique proven blueprint that's built market leaders, award winners, and the guys that are really taking the industries to the next level, achieving their life by design, getting wealth, health, and all that comes with it. And if you're not already secured or booked into any of our events this year, join us tomorrow at midday, and I'll be doing a flash sale with 5 places to kick off this year's campaign, and look forward to welcoming you aboard to one of the Property Entrepreneur Blueprint events this year. There's 120 places, 4 events. When they're gone, they're gone. If you remember the last 2 years, we've been shipping people in on buses because we've taken all the rooms at the Belfry. Don't miss out. Join me at midday tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you at the Belfry at the end of the month. Take care, guys. All the best until next time. I'll see you soon.